And this is a video of kind of like working rebar, reinforcing steel. So it's just going to kind of give you an idea what that's like. And then in a little bit, I'll show you another one about what it's like to work structural steel. Okay. Can you hear it too? You have, yes.
I'm walking the floor all night. I'm walking the floor all night. People ask me, what do you do? I said, you know what rebar is? It's reinforcing the concrete to keep the concrete bonding together. So then they kind of get an idea of it. Even at that point, there's not too many people know about rebar. I can't sleep. A rod buster, it takes a certain breed to do it. I mean, anybody could be an iron worker. I mean, I hate to say it, iron workers are a dime a dozen, but it takes a certain guy to be a rod buster. I've seen the biggest dudes fall down and just quit like little babies. I've seen the smallest guys just get the biggest heart. You know, that's what it comes down to is heart.
What do you? I love it. My dad's an iron worker. His dad was an iron worker. My grandpa's an iron worker. On both sides of my family.
I like to get steel out. I like the punk. It just gets me excited. It gets me flowing because I get in that yelling mode. I'm like, come on, pick up the bar. Let's go. Let's go. I just like that. It's adrenaline rush, you know?
I got steel.
Most of these guys, they average anywhere from 4 to 6 ton a day. That's 12,000 pounds that they got to physically pick up, put down, tie.
The caliber of this job and the scope of this job is unreal. The size of this job, the sheer size of this job is insane. When they say it's a mile, you know, you don't think it's a mile. And I ask everybody, hey, do you think we're halfway yet? And everybody said, I don't think so. I go, oh, God.
The project is the Apple building.
Project, I can say that I've come out and seen almost 15,000 ton just on the ground prior to placing.
I think they're like 380, 400 pounds of bar. Those guys are just getting thousands of bar coming in down in the hole. If we got 4 bundles of the 72-foot number 11s on there, it's like 24,000 pounds. So each pick we fly into here is 24,000 pounds. And then you got 10 guys, hurry up, pack it out so I can get another 4 bundles down to them and stage it. That day we had 30 people here on like a Friday or Thursday. We probably put in a little over 1 million pounds just on one side. It was a lot that day.
One of my big driving forces is the fact that I was a little guy in high school, and I got picked on, and it'll never happen again.
You can be the strongest guy in the world, but if you're not mentally strong, you're gonna fail at this job.
You just got to do it. You know, I mean, it's not really a big deal. You know, if you get inside your head about it, sit there and think, oh, this is so heavy, I can't do it. I mean, it's got to be done.
You see the other guy standing strong, you want to stand up there stronger. You get up there, you see him carry 1, I want to carry 2. He sees you carry 2, he wants to carry 3. We push each other like that the whole way. You get a whole bunch of guys like that, and everybody picks it up a notch.
To be a part of this, that's an honor to me.
Quite the honor to be a part of running this job and just being part of this whole thing. It's pretty amazing.
You can say that I was a part of it, you know, from start to finish.
It's just being part of a big project like this is kind of an honor. To actually one day say, I worked on that job, and nobody could take it away from me.
I gotta walk in the floor.
Okay, so that was the Apple building in San Jose. It's since been completed. I'm going to look up another one here. Let's see here. This one ought to be pretty good. It's kind of what it's like to work structural steel. Those two guys that are working with the crane, handling that beam that's being flown in, are called connectors. They have a team on the ground or a lower level that sends the pieces, hooks them up, sends the pieces to them, and that's your ground crew. Person over here is stuffing bolts in the holes. That's one of your bolt up people. And then later on, you'll have welders, and then you'll have deckers. Once it's all put in, you'll have deckers come in and lay that deck in there. Very noisy work. As you can see, everybody's tied off with their harnesses and their lanyards. Probably not going to go the whole way through this video. I'll let him hang another piece and show you some other websites I think you'd be interested in. All right, let me stop that there. There's another website that I think all of you guys and ladies and gentlemen will be interested in. Is it's called the Division of Apprenticeship Standards website. So let me go ahead and bring it up.
Thank you so much again. While you look for that, the update is I think we have about 12 more minutes for presentation, and then we'll go into Q&A.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me go ahead and bring this one up here. Window. Okay, so a couple things that I'd like to show you guys. I think you can see it now. Okay, so this is it's called Division of Industrial Relations, and this is the Division of Apprenticeship Standards for the state of California. Whoa, what happened here? Okay, it has some links on here: Become an Apprentice, Public Works, California Start an Apprenticeship Program, all that. Well, what you want to look for right here is Find an Apprenticeship Program. This is a great one to explore right here. So click on Find an Apprenticeship Program, and then the county that you want to live in, which for me is San Diego County. So I'm going to go down here to San Diego County and click on it, and then all occupations. If I wanted one particular occupation, I would hit the drop down and click on it, whichever one I want. But since I want to see all, I'll go to search. And this just gives you a list of all kinds of different apprenticeships that might interest you. And then from there, you could click on a link and it'll kind of let you know which way to go. And then there's the next button to take you to a new one, you know, automotive master mechanic. You know, my advice to you guys is chase opportunity. You know, everybody wants to be an astronaut, but there's probably going to be maybe 100 people in the entire world are going to be astronauts this year out of several billion people. So opportunity, there is opportunity in apprenticeship. And for rebar and ironwork, when I first started, it was very physically demanding and I was wondering if I really wanted to do it. Over time, I got conditioned to it. I started to understand it. I started to get good at it, and then I really started to like it. And so it was started off as just an opportunity, one that I really didn't want to see myself doing a long time until I kept at it. And then it just became something I really liked and still do to this day. We also have welding as one of the aspects of our trade. I mean, they get into everything. You got barber apprenticeship, apprenticeships. You have Boilermakers, bricklayers. This is us right here. Structural steel, inspectors. You know, the previous one was a building inspector. There's an apprenticeship for that. So, I mean, you could go on and on and on. Carpenters, cabinet makers. A lot of these things are really rewarding. So, cement masons, chainmen, even, you know, like a chief of party. This looks like some sort of a surveyor's type of thing. Surveyors are where they kind of like go and they shoot elevations on properties to give people an idea where they need to be and build and dig for a building that they might be putting up. Operators, if you want to drive big, heavy equipment or operate a crane or something, they have electricians also. I mean, the list goes, it says 71 out of 240. 240 some odd choices in there. So with that, I guess I'll stop my presentation here and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Let me stop that. Okay.
Okay,
right.
I'm sorry. Scholars, if you're listening to me, I see 7 LFs are live streaming. Please send me your questions for Mr. Peterson regarding apprenticeships, iron workers, and all of the information you listen to. So while you guys type that in the G-chat, send it directly to me, to Mr. Marquez, send me a G-chat, and I can ask them to Mr. Peterson. Let's start with one that as a school we have, Mr. Peterson. One of the questions we have as a school is, what can we as a school do differently to help prepare students for this career path?
Well, do you guys have a wood shop? Do you have a metal shop? Do you have auto shop? Shop classes would be my recommendation to better prepare students for this type of, you know, for a work in the building industry, or whether it's rough building or finished building. You know, you've got your cabinetry inside, and that's really rewarding too. If you're building, you know, finished cupboards and cabinets and casework for people and doors and all that. So the shops would be the thing that I would recommend for any school. It used to be every school had a shop, and it seems now with there's only so many that have it. But I would recommend, if you can get a shop, welding included.
I remember taking wood shop, and then we will build things in high school, and I will take it home. So yeah, that's it's rewarding.
I still have furniture today that I built in high school.
Yeah.
Yep.
LFs, if you guys can please encourage your scholar to ask questions, send them my way, send me a G-chat so we can start with the questions. That was a school question. I have a personal question.
Okay.
Would you mind resharing the salary schedule or table? and then kind of walk us through, like, let's say that one of our scholars finishes high school and is ready to kind of start looking into it. Where would they start? Do they need some education before they start on the first level, or can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
And then after that, I am starting to get some questions from students.
Okay. Okay, so for the wage rate sheet, this is where you start right here. As far as the requirements for a first period apprentice, we don't really have any training requirements. You just have to be 18 years old or older. You need to have at least a high school diploma or the GED. Or if you want, say you were in the military for a little bit, you'd want to have your DD 214 papers. And all of what our contractors want, and I can pretty much say this goes for every contractor that's out there in the building industry and pretty much any industry. They want folks that are going to show up on time every day for work. They want people that are going to bring a good attitude when they get there. They want them to act like they want to be there. I know as a foreman or general foreman, one of the things that really bugged me the most was when you give somebody an assignment to do, and considering after all they're getting paid, right? When you get a bad attitude from somebody just because you gave them an assignment of work to do, we just don't like that, right? So it's like, this person is all angry because I gave them an assignment to do, an assignment that they're getting paid to do, right? So you got to be able to handle being told what to do and do it, and just come with a good attitude. And then work hard, just work, when you're walking from place to place, act like you're trying to get somewhere. It's not a Sunday stroll in the park. You are trying to get from A to B. You don't have to run, but you want to walk briskly, like you're, trying to get something done. And there's always something to do. If you find yourself without anybody to instruct you or whatever, there's always trash that can be picked up, stuff like that. So you're going to want to do that, right? So anyways.
And then each period first period, second period, it takes approximately how long to get from one to the other?
6 months. About every 6 months, you can earn yourself a raise. So as long as you take the classes you're supposed to take and get your minimal amount of work hours, which is achievable, then you will get a raise every 6 months. And so this would take about 4 years to complete the whole thing. So,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
it's a good path for scholars. So I have a couple of questions. The first one from Therese. She says, "What is the best part of your job?"
Of my job is probably being the apprenticeship coordinator. Are you talking about as an iron worker or as a coordinator? As a coordinator,
I think both.
so as an iron worker, it was the camaraderie of the folks that I would work with, and then the things that we would achieve together as far as building monumental type structures. And then as a coordinator, it is seeing the development of people from not knowing much about anything as far as construction or ironwork goes to becoming, journeymen. And then later on, when they stop by with their new company truck that somebody decided to assign to them and put them in charge of job sites and work on those job sites, that's pretty rewarding for me to see. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah. And then Paloma asked the same thing. And then Therese asked a second question. She asked, what are the required classes? I think we already mentioned that, but she's still wondering, what are the required classes to take in high school? Go ahead.
As far as what you take in high school, it really doesn't impact. It's not like you have to have a particular class in order to get into an apprenticeship program. It's just so long as you complete it. Now, I would recommend some math. It's a little more advanced math would be my recommendation, but it's not required. But if you're good at math, because we move numbers around a lot on these job sites, it will help you in your career in any building industry.
And then there was another one. What's the most difficult part of? I'm assuming this one is for iron workers. or apprenticeships, what was the most difficult part about your job?
When you first get started, the physical effort that's required to do what you're doing, it takes a little bit to get used to. So just not letting yourself give up is probably the most difficult part. You just don't let yourself quit, and you will get conditioned to it. You get used to it, and you'll start to like it when you understand what you're doing. Yeah.
Scholars, send your questions. I think I read all of the questions that you sent me. LFs, again, if you guys can please encourage at least a couple more questions. And then while we wait for those, we still have some minutes for more questions. I have a couple questions in general. So let's see. What does a typical workday look like? So, you wake up in the morning, drive to work, and then walk us through a day as an apprentice.
Okay. So you get there in the morning, you get up, you pack your lunch, you go to the job site, you're greeted by your foreman, your journeyman, your general foreman, and all that. Everybody, usually there's a safety meeting every day. You attend the safety meeting to go over the topics of the day. There's probably going to be some safety equipment inspection that you do. You get trained to do it ahead of time, but you'll inspect your fall protection equipment to make sure there's no cuts, tears, or anything that's going to work for you if necessary. Then you'll be given an assignment. Usually the assignments will come from your general foreman down to your foreman. And then from there, you will be part of a team, small groups of people that go out to do different tasks on a job site. Some of it might be some footings that need to be done on one side of the building, while some walls need to be done in another area. So you'll have your different teams going to do all these different things, and they all take place at the same time. So you'll be doing a lot of carrying of like when you first start out, you got to make sure everybody's got water to drink. You got to make sure that they have, tie wire to use when they're tying stuff up with rebar. You'll be carrying rebar to them so that they can put it together. That's in rebar. And if you're doing structural steel, you'll be probably putting bolts together that come in separate boxes. So you take a bolt, you put a washer on it, you put a nut on it, and let's call it make it up bolts. You get everything put together so that it's one unit ready to go. You may be helping a welder where you're carrying their equipment from point to point, loading their wire in it. They'll train you how to do all that stuff. It's not like you already need to know, but you'll help a welder's helper, bolt up person. There's always stuff to clean up. There's always oxygen, acetylene bottles for cutting torches that need to be swapped out and replaced. The full ones for empty ones, and just little by little, you could always work your way up into having a bigger role if you show the ambition and you're learning. They may even let you as an apprentice start connecting pieces together. Usually that's a little bit into your apprenticeship. If you want to do it and you show you want to do it and then you prove you can do it, then they'll let you do it. So that's pretty much any aspect of our trade. Same thing with welding. You want to get into the welding lab here and gain that skill here and then take it out on the job site. And it's very useful and it will help you stay employed.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Another scholar, we call student scholars, is asking I think he's asking, I'm just going to try to rephrase his question. You already did mention that, wood shop, anything that has hands-on are the best classes you recommend. Mm-hmm. Other than that, he's recommending what other classes, more academic, might be good, like history or PE. That's just his question, so.
Well, it is physically demanding, so PE is not a bad way to go. And then advanced math. I would get at least through, I'd get past pre-algebra into algebra and even geometry. And if you really want to advance, in the ironworkers, the more advanced math that you have, the better. It's not like we're going to turn you into an engineer, but we do learn a lot of engineering principles and theories. It's not like we have a stamp or whatever, but you start to understand how building goes together from top to bottom. And it'll be real helpful to to have those math skills, you know.
I currently teach trigonometry,
Mhm.
triangles, so probably that number sense, that shape, angles kind of
Yeah.
helps a little maybe.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Another question from Therese. How many hours does it take to complete one job in Ironwork? So I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, so that's there's a lot of variables there because it depends on the size of the project. You know, if you're building a little oil changing facility somewhere, it's going to take a lot less than if you're building a hospital or a big college facility, right? It just depends on the size and scope of the project. So I've worked on things as small as a Taco Bell, and I've worked on things as big as a stadium, right? So stadiums can take a year or two to build. Taco Bell our part of it could just be a day or two. So it just depends on what the project is. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Therese, Jason, Paloma, for asking questions. I do have a question from another teacher. So
Okay.
Mr. Ruiz is asking, what is the attrition rate? What percentage of apprentices decide to quit before attaining journeyman status?
Right now it's probably about just under. Most of our folks that are going to quit in the first couple of months. So I'd say we complete probably 68% will complete the program that started. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have 4 minutes left. Thank you again. I don't know if you have any closing remarks, but I have 6 LFs or teachers watching the stream, and then their corresponding students. So hopefully they gain a lot. I think I gain a lot, so I'm sure the scholars did as well. But if you have any closing remarks, you have about 3 minutes.
Okay.
For closing.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share that one website that I was sharing before, the DA Division of Apprenticeship Standards. So when you go to this deal as far as find an apprenticeship program, you know, you can tap on the counties, of course. Now you can get into individual occupations. Let's just say I want to be into cosmetology or whatever, right? If that were the case, I could go here and I could click on that, and it would tell me like what they are. These are mostly barbers. I'm going to go ahead and click on one of them, and it'll kind of tell me starting wage is about $10 an hour, right? And it'll have all the requirements there, who to contact, veteran benefits or whatever. And then let me go back one here. Okay, so now I want to be an electrician, or even better, an elevator mechanic. I want to work on elevators. I can go here. I want to work in San Diego County. Okay. Run the search. It's going to have elevator constructors. It's going to have the title of the occupation. The program length is 48 months. Starting wage $26.93. All the minimum requirements. Whether or not there's a drug test, if there's a written exam, yes or no. Where the committee's information, where they are, the contact person to get a hold of, and then if you know, additional requirements, prerequisites, and all that type of stuff. So this will help you get going. And if you want to know what somebody's wage is, I believe you can go to find apprenticeship wages. So right here, I could go to San Diego, and then I click on submit. And now I can look at, let's say, again, the elevator constructors. We want to know how much they make. Let's see, where is it here? Okay, your temporary access has either been deleted. Okay, so maybe they don't have their wages posted right now. Let me look at the electricians. Inside wiremen. There you go. It's got their wage rate sheet on here. Kind of tells you where they start and then how many periods of apprenticeship they have. Theirs is a 5-year program. So this is kind of good. And it kind of lets you know they may have more than one classification. So this one here is Imperial, San Diego County. It may be a little higher in some other counties. Or look at the classification: electrical wire, inside wireman. Same thing here. Shift 1, shift 2. All these different, whatever the shift means. I'm not sure. I'm not an electrician, but it kind of has the wage rate sheets, and you can look that up for any trade you want to, and that'll give you an idea of what they make for whatever interests you. So this is a great website for a young person to explore, or anybody to explore that's interested in an apprenticeship program. So sheet metal workers, you know, terrazzo, these guys finish flooring, tile work, asbestos, bricklayers, bridge carpenter, modular furniture. I mean, you name it. It just goes on and on. And when you get down here, you have the next search, right? So keeps continuing, and punch in the county you want to work in and look at the wage determination. So just mess around with this and explore the website, and then you'll learn a lot about wages and different trades that are available with apprenticeship programs. So.
All right, Mr. Peterson, thank you so much for your time. I think we learned a lot, and please come back to E3 for maybe another presentation sometime.
Okay.
So thank you.
Right on. Our pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good day. Thank you.